and a $150 breathing test.
In and out.
All this before Dr. Fareed Afra ever walked in the room.
Okay, what's your problem?
I'm fine.
Our patient is fine. We already had him checked out at USC Medical Center. But Dr. Afra still billed Medi-cal more than $900 for those unnecessary tests.
Well, he said 30.
And Little Daddy paid Dr. Afra's patients, including our researcher, each a $30 kickback. That's illegal. We tracked down Dr. Afra, you know this is illegal, in his Beverly Hills office and showed him our undercover tape. Do any of the clinics you work at pay cash to people with Medi-cal cards?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Then how does he explain Little Daddy? Do you know this man?
No.
How could he not know him?
Have a seat, yeah.
Little Daddy works behind the counter at the clinic, passes out prescriptions, even calls patients to see the doctor.
They don't call you, baby. Hold on here.
In fact, Dr. Afra couldn't explain most of what we saw at that clinic. Why would this clinic be doing all these tests on a patient?
I don't know.
Before the patient ever saw the doctor.
I don't know.
We uncovered clinics across L.A. involved in this same kind of fraud. And the State Health Department, which oversees Medi-cal, knows all about it. Director Deanna Bonta. Do you know that this is going on?
We know that fraud is going on.
For now, the state seems unable to stop this fraud. Consider this. Our researcher was recruited to 13 different clinics. 5 of them did EKGs on him. 5 did ultrasounds on his heart.
This is Goodland.
And 5 gave him full blood tests, all to the same person in less than 2 weeks. Medi-cal automatically paid for these bogus tests.
We have a 1979 computer system.
It turns out Medi-cal's computer is not programmed to catch these phony claims. Isn't that embarrassing to the state to pay all those claims?
Absolutely. This should never happen.
But it happened again at the Family Care Medical Clinic on Alvarado Street. It was here that a nurse named Anna told our undercover patient to pretend to be sick.
Please don't tell the doctor I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay? Tell him you have something wrong. You have sometimes chest pain, stomach pain. When stomach pain is going from here to here.
We learned the clinic billed Medi-cal over $1,000 for medical tests our patient was never even given. That nurse couldn't explain any of it to us. You told this patient to lie. Why did you do that?
I was wrong.
You were wrong? The state has been targeting Medi-cal fraud, but a different type of fraud. Medical supply stores that are falsely billing the state. But what are they doing about these phony clinics?
We have a fraud hotline number in which people can report these scams.
I must have made 20 calls.
This medical professional, who fears for her safety, called the state's fraud hotline to report a bogus clinic.
No one's called me. No one's followed up. Nothing.
And so these bogus clinics are doing a booming business. Like this clinic we showed you last night on Florence Avenue.
Okay.
The clinic's recruiter is named Jeffrey.
You got back pain.
He had told our producer to fake some kind of illness.
You that tell the doctor you got your back hurt.
The clinic did some tests on our patient, and Jeffrey paid him a kickback. Jeffrey! We went back to the Florence Avenue clinic.
How you know my name?
To ask Jeffrey a few questions. Are you paying people cash to come in here with their medical
Hell no. Hell no. Where you get that from?
We got it from our undercover tape. Can I show you some videotape?
You want to see me paying somebody?
Yeah.
So
we showed him our tape.
this is all I got.
You know what you're doing is against the law?
What, working? Working against the law?
You're trying to rip off the system, aren't you?
No, nothing, man.
But no one got angrier at our videotape than California's Governor Gray Davis.
We're going after this with a vengeance.
Tomorrow night, a promise from the governor to wipe out the kind of fraud that we uncovered.
This is a crime, and I'd like to see people go to jail.
The State Health Department tells us it is now trying to fix its computer system to catch those fraudulent claims before they're paid. They couldn't say exactly when the computer would be fixed.
Now a special assignment exclusive, and we're talking about fighting words coming from California's governor in response to the huge welfare fraud exposed in our undercover investigation. Investigative reporter Jill Grover is here now with the fallout from so far 2 pieces that have really exposed this problem as being very widespread.
Well, John and Ann, the kind of fraud that we uncovered has been practically ignored by state officials. Until now. During our 5-month investigation, we caught doctors recruiting the poor to steal from a state welfare program called Medi-cal. Now California's governor is promising an all-out crackdown on California's billion-dollar ripoff.
This is outrageous. There's nothing that ticks me off more than someone who's trying to rip us off. Nothing.
An angry reaction from Governor Gray Davis after watching the scam we caught on tape.
God bless me, bro.
It's a scam that starts with people like this man who calls himself Boozer. It's Boozer's job to bring poor patients to doctor's offices like this one on 3rd Street. One of Boozer's patients is our undercover researcher. The clinic immediately does a lung test on him, and an electrocardiogram, and blood tests for diseases like hepatitis. These are tests for patients who complain of serious problems. But our patient wasn't complaining of anything.
Any complaints?
No.
You okay?
No.
For going along with this, Boozer pays our patient $40. The doctor gets paid $500 by Medi-cal, and they all think they'll never get caught.
I've been doing it for 5 years. I've never had no problem.
And I am upset that people would have the chutzpah to just rip off the taxpayer.
Right after watching our tape,
We're going after this with a vengeance.
the governor phoned the Medi-cal Fraud Prevention Bureau in Sacramento and sent its chief, Alan Cates, to CBS 2 to examine our evidence. The Bureau is now investigating the clinics that we caught committing fraud.
This is a crime, and I'd like to see people go to jail.
But putting people in jail who run these medical clinics is the job of Attorney General Bill Lockyer.
Is this an area of fraud that's been ignored somewhat until now?
Probably yes.
The AG says he hasn't had enough investigators to really crack down yet on bogus clinics, like this one in South Central. It was here that we saw drivers dropping off van loads of Medi-cal patients. If the patients agreed to take medical tests they didn't really need, a recruiter named Jeffrey would pay them a $35 kickback.
I'm not paying no cash. You got me. Who the hell is you anyway?
Jeffrey denied it to us, but it was all on tape. Are you paying people cash to come in here with their Medi-cal cards?
Hell no. Hell no. Where you get that from?
You're definitely not doing that.
Not.
It's an outrageous and huge ripoff.
So after watching our undercover tape, the Attorney General announced for the first time he's going to double the size of his staff that fights Medi-cal fraud.
Do you think there's $1 billion to $2 billion worth of fraud? Investing $20 million to try to stamp it out is a smart investment.
So now the state's top officials have a warning for people like Jeffrey
Don't you know who the hell are you?
and Boozer
No problem.
and all the doctors in those clinics.
Is it normal?
I mean, those people at clinics better watch out because I'm coming.
And I'm told there might be some arrests of some of the people in these clinics sometime in the very near future.
Now a special assignment follow-up. Governor Gray Davis has launched a huge crackdown on doctors who are ripping off California's Medi-cal program. And this action is in response to Joel Grover's investigation that aired last week. Joel now has the latest on the state's new war on Medi-cal fraud.
We had to change the command center. The state has put together a SWAT team of 60 investigators who are now fanning out across the LA area, making surprise visits to every doctor who gets paid by Medi-cal. What they're doing is looking for more phony medical clinics like we uncovered in a CBS 2 investigation.
We're doing this because your show brought to our attention the fact that it's so pervasive on the street.
So state health department investigators like Alan Cates are now visiting 10,000 doctors across L.A.
Well, I think we got a good one right off the bat.
One of his first stops was this building on Hollywood Boulevard to check out a clinic in Suite 307.
There's no 307.
In fact, Suite 307 was locked and vacant. But that didn't stop the doctors who were using this address from billing Medi-cal $1 million in just the last 6 weeks.
We will get to the bottom of this problem very quickly.
This door-to-door crackdown was ordered by Governor Gray Davis
We're going after this with a vengeance.
after he watched our undercover video of clinics that were billing Medi-cal for tests their patients didn't need or never even got.
If you're a clinic that's perpetrating fraud, you're going to be put out of business. You can count on that.
And there seems to be a lot of fraudulent clinics to uncover, like another one investigators found in this Hollywood office building. The clinic was empty, and the building manager had never even heard of the doctor who'd been collecting checks from Medi-cal.
No, we don't have anybody by that name here.
As state investigators begin their crackdown, Local authorities are targeting the 13 clinics exposed in our investigation. This team